you link this with? Hello and welcome to the Halloween Extravaganza 2. My name's Anthony Kerrigan. We're on the Ghost Steerer channel, and we are joined now by Darren Mann of the Paranormal Database. How are you doing, Darren?
I'm well, thank you, Anthony. How are you doing?
Oh, good. All happy for the spooky time of the year, all Halloween. I love it. Pumpkins at the ready.
Absolutely.
Tonight, so we're going to be talking to Darren about the Paranormal Database, the man behind the Paranormal Database, and also Haunted Cork, the book which Darren wrote as well. If you'd like to contact the page, go to our website, www.ghostera.net. Fill in the blanks. If you have a private message, just put in brackets private message. Also, if you want to catch up on past shows, go to our website, www.ghostera.net, and just press the red button, the Ghost Steerer channel, and you see past shows from there. So, how are you doing, Darren? Finally, after a decade, nearly.
It has. I mean, we're talking before, exchanging messages before this show, and we've messaged each other on and off for the past coming up to 12 years, but we've never actually spoken face to face. So this is quite a nice experience.
True, yeah, it's different there, and hopefully we'll get to see each other soon. Maybe I'm hopefully coming over there next year. There, if you allow me.
Yeah, no, it'd be fantastic to meet up.
So we're talking to Darren about the Paranormal Database there. But how long has it been established, the database?
I think it officially started around 1999. So as a bit of background, I just finished my degree, and my degree was in photography. Okay. And I spent my final year documenting and showing how UFO photographs could be faked. Okay. And I really enjoyed doing that. And once I left, I thought, well, I can't just give up on photography. So I'll need a new hobby, a new project to do. So I started to photograph allegedly haunted places around my local area, which is Suffolk in England. And then I started putting them online, and then I expanded the site to include photographs in Essex and Norfolk. Okay. And then about us amassing stories quicker than I could photograph. So I started to add the stories to the website, and then people started emailing me their stories, saying, oh, you've written this bit about this haunted place in Norwich. I went there and I had this experience. So it kind of escalated from there, to be perfectly honest. And then people started to email me stories from outside those counties. And so it just grew and grew until what it is today.
It's amazing there. And so that's probably what influenced you there. Is there any people that work with you there gathering up the stories, or is it just yourself? Or
no, it's primarily just me. Occasionally people will send me a batch of stories. So I've had a couple of so there's a cryptozoologist called Glenn Vaudry.
Okay.
And when he was researching, I sent him several pages of my notes. And once he'd published his book, he gave me permission to put most of that online in my bite-sized chunks.
Cool.
So, within a couple of days, I had covered lots of sea serpent sightings in in and around Scotland. But primarily in the day-to-day stuff, it is just little old me.
I know, because I remember one location we did there was Ghost Era there, and I found it on your database for looking for cryptids to investigate. There was a sea serpent, just as you mentioned, and it's in a lake in County Cork as well. So we went out on the lake on a boat and we started investigating it there.
Fantastic.
But it's interesting, the information that you can look up regularly on the database to see if there's any locations in different counties to investigate. So do you do the research yourself? Like, do you look into newspapers? Like, because I know there's a few of the accounts that is over 100 years old.
No, absolutely. So off the top of my head, I'd say around between 15 and 20% of the database is user submissions, and the rest of it I harvest from newspapers. So I have a series of Google alerts set up. So every week I get a summary of any newspaper articles featuring the words ghost or hauntings or cryptozoology or folklore. There's a website called archive.org. I'm not too sure if you've come across it, but it's full of out of copyright books from like early 20th century, 19th, 18th centuries. And it has hundreds of old folklore volumes. So I spend a lot of time going through those books and trying to marry up, because places, of course, change and names change. So trying to track down where that 18th century road currently is, and trying to update the records accordingly.
Yeah, true, because I know something like, as you said, it's some of the locations like you put in, like you say, the runes or don't exist anymore. It's interesting. It's good to know that there, especially when you're looking for a big castle that's not there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So locally, there's a case of this bridge in a place called Bury St Edmunds, which is supposedly haunted by a nurse and a soldier. And I spent ages trying to find this railway bridge in Bury, only to find out that it was removed during the 1930s, and it's now a dual carriageway.
Oh, right.
So, minor environmental changes like that can have a massive impact on research.
True, yeah. So, is there any criteria, like if people put an entry forward, is there any rules to which go forward into the database or?
Yeah, I have to admit, I do leave out certain records. So things like schools, if it's not an established haunting or well documented, then I'll tend to leave things like that out, because if you get down to it, most school kids will say, "Oh, my school's haunted," and there's some kind of urban myth concerning that school. I'm trying to be mindful of private residential places as well. So if somebody says I lived in a house along X Street during the 1980s, and somebody's living there now, I try to put the general area of that haunted house, rather than say, it's number whatever at X Street, because I can imagine there's nothing worse than having a Ghostbuster knock on your door as you're sitting down with tea, asking to investigate this house you didn't know was haunted, allegedly haunted.
I know, yeah, it's I know, because there was some accounts. I remember even going to a place called the Stowe, and there was a poltergeist activity. As I was mentioned before, it was over 100 years old. It was supposed to have happened there. It was a nun's house or something to do with a nun haunted a place. And I checked out the database and saw it was down the street, but I didn't know what number. But all of it was shops now anyway, so I knew it was something that I couldn't get into anyway.
Yeah.
But is there any? Did you notice any spikes in areas? And like say, would there be like 10 different people contact you in a short period of time about some sighting, like a UFO or a cryptid or a haunting?
Yeah, no, there's a couple of places which spring to mind. So there's a private house in Edinburgh, which I think is rented out to students.
Okay.
And over a 2-year period, 3 people emailed me independently, as far as I could tell, about the same property, saying that there's something really strange here. And even though the accounts weren't identical, you know, I think somebody saw this strange shadowy figure, and somebody else would hear taps at night, and somebody else would hear doors opening and closing for no reason. So strange clusters like that always intrigue me. And in Suffolk, there's Thetford Forest, a place called Thetford Forest. And once again, over a short period of 2 to 3 years, I had a few drivers email me saying that they had seen this, that they described it as like a part man, parts animal-like creature, which they saw moving around on all fours and then raised onto its hind legs and ran off at incredible speed. Okay. So once again, I'm not too sure if they saw the same entity or whether or not it's a local practical joker who just dresses up and lurks behind the roadside. But those little clusters I do find quite interesting.
Or it could be a real animal. You just
absolutely.
You know, let loose. Somebody brought it back. I think it was an alligator in somewhere let loose in England. There, I think it was on the news. There, it was on this morning anyway.
I haven't seen that yet.
It was an alligator caiman there, but so people would with these little clusters and all that. Were there people like researchers or even agencies, like government agencies, that would come to you for information about, like, say, if they were doing a survey on a particular area?
Yeah, like I touched on earlier, I've had several authors contact me asking for more details, and everybody's more or less happy to share that information around. You know, as long as you credit it, you know, I don't think there's any real harm. I think last year was the strangest query I had, and it was a private detective who had been asked to investigate the Holy Grail and wanted to know the source of a couple of the entries on my database, and whether or not I knew where the Holy Grail is likely to be located.
Come on, Darren, where is it? Come on.
And you know, as quite honest, I said, if you believe that, then you know these are the places on my website which claim to have connection. But to be honest, I'm a little skeptical about the Holy Grail and its existence. So I'm probably not the best person to ask.
But there is a few places. It was the Church, is it?
No, that's one place. And there's a manor house which was in the papers a few weeks ago, which claims to have both the Grail and the Ark of the Covenant hidden in the basement somewhere.
Right.
So hopefully somebody will go there with a shovel and investigate further.
Hopefully I'll see if I can get over there, you know, be immortal or whatever you call it, immortal. I know sometimes I don't feel like living forever, but you know, it just Indiana Jones, I'm not. But so as well, Darren brought out Haunted Cork. Now, was that 2011? Was it, or 2000?
Yeah, no, it's 2011, I think. So 10 years ago now.
Okay. And tell me what made you choose County Cork anyway?
Well, once again, I received this call out of the blue from the publisher, which is History Press Ireland, and I'm still not sure why they contacted me. I have to be perfectly honest, but they said that they were looking for a group of authors, people to write about haunted islands. I think haunted Dublin and another place had been taken.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. I know, yeah, there's a few places like Antrim and Carlow. Yeah,
that's right. So they after that they said, but you can do any county you want. And I thought, well, Cork is one of the places I have come across on my database. I've had stories submitted there. It looks a fantastic place to visit, you know, because you've got so many castles and historical monuments that I wouldn't mind an excuse to go over anyway. So I said, yeah, Cork, that'll be fantastic. That'll be really easy to do as well. So,
and was it easy? Was it easy? Did you get some of the stories while you were over here, or did you?
Yeah, no. I have to admit it was more difficult than I thought, and I know you've been involved in writing, and it's one of those things. As a hobby, when you do it as a hobby, it comes really easily. But as soon as you've got a deadline and a set number of words, you know, that's when the panic sets in, and you think, "Oh God, I've got so much to do. How am I going to do this?" But once the ball's rolling, you know, it's okay, and thankfully, Cork has so much folklore and people who are really friendly and approachable and are happy to share their experiences. It wasn't as bad as I first thought. Yourself included, of course. You are more than happy to share your experiences. So thank you.
Oh yeah, it was and thank you. It was really, you know, it's looking back on it there, like some of the stories I didn't even know about there, but were, you know, going back through the archives or going to the people around that area, and they were like true, like, you know, it's a very interesting book. Yeah, so I would, if anyone's looking to buy a book for around Christmas or that haunted Cork, do get it there. Like, and I was going to say that what was a strange, what place sticks out for you when you came to County Cork, or which place you wrote about?
There are a couple of places which really stood out to me. So one was this property which we visited with the Cork Paranormal group, which we'll touch on a bit later, I think. And Charles Fort, that building, I was just blown away by it, because it is so massive and, you know, atmospheric. When I went, there were very few people there, and I was just surprised that it wasn't a massive tourist attraction, because it is absolutely amazing. Cork Jail as well as another place which is just so much history there, and once again it's very moving experience as well, you know, going through that building and reading about some of the things which went on there. You know, it's quite and all driven by passionate volunteers who work there as well. Absolutely astounding.
True, it's amazing. Yeah, they're nice spots as well. Like in South, it's beautiful there. I love the potato cakes. I'm on about food. It's Halloween.
Yes, time for too much candy, sweets. Yeah,
I've just had breakfast. I know it sounds like I'm up late. But what was I going to say? Have you any? So yeah, we'll touch part. I'm going to read a bit out from the book there about the photo road, which is in Cove. But before that, what were your memories of the investigation at the abandoned building just outside Cork City there with Fed or paranormal investigators?
I was completely unprepared for it. So I met up with Jackie. It was absolutely fantastic, and she said, "Oh, we've got this building, which is worth looking at." And I thought, excellent. And we drove out and drove to the middle of nowhere. and there's this big building, which you know, and she's like, "Oh, just cut through here, cut through here." I thought, "Oh, it's my first night in Cork. Where am I?" You know,
I know what they're going to do to you.
And it was an absolutely amazing place. But yeah, very atmospheric. So it was cold, damp. It was raining really, really hard.
Okay.
You know, I just struggled to describe the experience. I haven't done anything like it since, has to be said. So, yeah, one of the definite highlights of my paranormal life, I think. And yeah, looking back, it's one of these things where it's really hard to gauge whether or not something weird did happen, because you're built up with this anticipation, and a dripping of a leaking roof, you know, could be interpreted as footfalls along an empty corridor. You just don't know. But that's part of the appeal for me in paranormal investigation. You know, you just don't know, and that keeps it interesting for me.
So you're like a parapsych. Well, you would be like a parapsychologist. You evaluate there, like as you said, it could be acoustic sounds of the water dripping coming from the roof there, coming in. But if I know of the building, I know of the building there, and I know it is a spooky place. I've never investigated myself, but I've been around it there, never been inside. But yeah, it is spooky. So I'm just going to read out a bit of bit of the chapter. So this is page 34. This is photo Road, and this is from Haunted Cork from Darren Mann. So the photo road heading towards Cove is one covered in tales of paranormal activity. Over a pint, people may crack a joke about the headless horseman said to gallop at full speed, or the phantom carriage pulled by a team of phantom nags. But a couple of stories are ingrained in Cork's paranormal culture. I heard about the photo ghosts from a Greek long-distance delivery driver I bumped into in Cove. He told me that he hated travelling the road at night, as his cab would become icy cold, no matter which setting he selected on the air conditioning. I was intrigued and started to dig out other stories of the road. The first ghostly stories of the photo road appear to date from around the early 20th century. As a small group of people returned from a local dance, they watched as a coach pulled by a team of headless horses drove past them. Although the occupants of the carriage are not described, it is said a hand appeared from the coach and waved at the witnesses. Further down the road, the coach was seen again, this time by a lad riding his bicycle. The cyclist was forced to mount the footpath to avoid the coach hitting him, or passing through him, of course. The sighting of the phantom coach coincided with the death of a prominent woman who lived close by, and those in the know agreed that the vehicle had come to collect her soul. So that's just a little bit from the photo roads, which I won't be going down to. especially not tomorrow night. It'd be spooky there. But that's in Cove, and that's part of the book in Haunted Cork there. Have you any plans to write any more books there, Darren, based on the paranormal?
It's one of those things. I'd very much like to. So somebody suggested I publish a diary. So because there's so many events which are supposed to occur on certain days of the year, and a few years ago I did publish a PDF, which I think is still floating around online, which is like the Paranormal Calendar 2016. I think I did it, and that's free to download. But I wouldn't mind revisiting that, you know, and mainly because it's not just hauntings. So lots of fairy sightings that are supposed to occur on certain days of the year, or there's various legends about King Arthur's table, and that appears one day a year. So, and if you're got the time, you can probably travel around visiting all these places, and set your watch by yourself these paranormal events.
True, it's like a tourist list. It's like
yes.
The gigs throughout the year, but for paranormal enthusiasts, they would go by that dates, and there's a few in Ireland, but actually that's one thing there. I suppose there's not that many anniversary kind of sighting dates in Ireland there, which is kind of unusual there. Well, it's not documented too much there, but that would be cool because people get to see those sites there and go on different journeys. Have you well, is there anywhere we can get Haunted Cork, the book? Is it still available?
I have to admit, I'm not 100% sure. So every so often they send me a list of how many it's sold, but I've got a feeling it's no longer published. So you might have to root around your local charity shop, or buy secondhand from various online stores, which I'm not going to name because they're far too big for their own good.
I know, yeah. I know they're true, yeah. I won't mention the big one beginning of A.
Yes.
But I bit of trouble with it. Anyway, that's where I won't be going to next time with the book. Anyway, they take enough electricity. Apparently, they take loads of electricity out of Ireland. Anyway, but anyway, for database. Well, that's a different thing, not your database. Yeah. But Darren, I really appreciate it and thank you there. So wait there, I'm just going to show a couple of pictures there. So this is the Paranormal Database. If people are looking to see the website there, it's very worth looking into there. And it's if you're looking for locations, as in Darren said there, if you're going around different counties in Ireland or England, or you're going over for a holiday back and forth, this is the Paranormal Database. And it's got all the counties are covered, isn't it? Is that correct, Darren?
Yeah, no, that's correct. So all counties throughout the UK and Republic of Ireland.
And I'm just going to show Haunted. So if people if you look up Haunted Cork, and there might be, I'm just going to show this. This is the front cover. Is that the Castle and Cove, is it? I think it was Belvedere.
Yeah, no, you're right. Belvedere, I think. And interestingly enough, since that photo was taken, it's been completely renovated, and people are now living there.
Yeah, I think there's been massive restoration work there, and that's actually just across the way from the photo road, which was just talking in the book there. And the castle that we were included in the book there, Carrickapooka Castle, that's completely changed the road down there now. It's like a motorway now, so it's all changing around there.
No, it is, which I think is why it's important for people to document the places before they do change.
Yeah, true as well. Yeah, as you mentioned, there's locations there that you mentioned there, and they're no longer existing. But you can still visit them, but they might have changed over the past how you see them there. Darren, thank you, and I hope you're having a good night tomorrow night and going trick or treating.
No, I'll probably stay in with a bowl of sweets with my partner, and we'll watch a couple of horror films.
That's the job. Lovely job. I'll have to have the face paint on, unfortunately, there. So, folks, yeah, stay tuned on the Halloween Extravaganza 2. We'll have more guests coming up in a minute there. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.